Okay, so today we're going to talk about two different genres, informational text and historical fiction, and we're going to see if you guys can point out the differences between the two. So I'm going to read you two different texts, and then after we're going to talk about which one we think is which and why. So our first one is See How They Run by Susan E. Goodman. Okay, so candidates finally got off their front porches and have been campaigning ever since. In 1948, Harry Truman traveled more than 30,000 miles to meet the American people. In 1954, Lyndon Johnson covered 60,000 miles in the final 42 days. William Jennings Bryan may not have traveled as far as the modern candidates, but this Democrat deserves the Determination Award. In 1908, Bryan made up 30 speeches. He was so exhausted his aides dumped cold water on him to wake him up for his next appearance. Being on the road is tiring for everyone, and that's why George W. Bush brought his pillow on the 2000 campaign trail. He always had a piece of home with him, no matter where he was sleeping. Candidates work this hard to make sure the public knows who they are and what they stand for. They shake a gajillion hands and even kiss a few babies. They make speeches and give interviews to reporters for newspapers, radios, and TV. They debate other candidates to explain why their ideas are better than their other opponents. So when you look at this page, you see different captions that tell you different things about what was read above. So keep that in mind when we read this next one, and then we'll go over and review both of them. So the next one is, we're going to read a page out of Danger in the Darkest Hour, one of the Magic Treehouse books. So, Teddy, Annie cried. She and Jack hurried to the young enchanter of Camelot. Teddy put down his bag and they all hugged. I'm glad Commando found you, said Teddy. He is quite a smashing soldier, you know. Who, the pigeon? Annie said. Yes, Commando is a member of the National Pigeon Service. Jack and Annie giggled. You're kidding, right? Not at all, said Teddy. Pigeon breeders have given over 200,000 pigeons to the British military to carry messages throughout Europe. Commando has been on dozens of missions. The missions were all in this time, of course. He needs the treehouse to take him to your time. So what is this time? Asked Jack. It is June 4th, 1944, and you have landed in Glastonbury, England. It is the site of one of the great monasteries of Europe. You can still see an ancient tower on the sacred hill of Glastonbury Tor. He pointed to the conical hill overlooking the flat countryside. Eventually, all the sacred buildings fell into ruins, but legend of King Arthur still surrounds this area. For that reason, I thought it might be a good place to meet you, a living midpoint between our worlds. Okay, so first of all, does anybody want to take a guess at which one is the historical fiction and which one is the informational text that we read?
First one was the informational, and the second one was the history.
Why do you say that? No, I'm just asking.
Because the first one talked about the presidential run, and it gave us specific explanations. It didn't have like characters talking. The second one had characters talking about it, and we met in a different place working with Illinois.
Right. So she's correct. The first one is an informational text, and and the informational text tells you more about dates and people and like a presidential campaign. And the way we can tell the historical fiction is because it's set in a time period that's true and it's a part of history, but